was a teacher in California for 10 years and then I moved to Texas, and the transition was extremely hard. I was working twice as much for half the pay. A lot of Texas teachers asking for the comparison. When you've only taught in one place, you know no other experience. And here's my list. Start with hours of FaceTime with students. In California, I was with students from 8:30 to 3. Texas, I was with students from 7 a.m. to 3. It's an hour and a half more FaceTime with students each day, which is 7.5 hours each week, which is like one extra work day with students. Talk prep time. This is open, unstructured time for me to plan and prep for my lessons. In California, I had about 4 prep times throughout the week. I was very excited when I moved to Texas because there was one allotted prep time per day. However, 3 chunks of those times were for designated meetings. So that gave me 2 chunks of time for prep. It was not enough. Also, those meetings gave me extra tasks and duties. Every meeting I realized I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't have this data. I need to learn something new, something that I wasn't trained on, something like that. So the meetings always came with extra duties and tasks, something to add to my ever-growing list. Duties is the big thing. In California, again, this is experience at my school, I had one duty. The duty might have been recess duty, morning duty, after school duty, but the duty was limited to 15 minutes, something negotiated by our union. 15 minutes a day of an extra duty. In addition, our school or our district worked in a week off of duty. So we might have a week of duty, a week off. We didn't have duty every single day, which felt like quite a luxury when I moved to Texas. At the school I was in Texas, you did all the duties. Before school started, you opened your classroom for students to come in. To me, that's a duty. I am watching kids, so I can no longer do what I need to do because I have to be at the door greeting students. For safety rules, we weren't allowed to leave the door and get things done. I had to literally stand at the door to greet students as they walked in and stand by the door for 20 minutes until school started. So I had morning duty with my students. All teachers had recess duty. Teachers took turns having lunch duty. This was a big difference for me because I never had to supervise lunch in California, which gave me a very minimal lunch unless I wanted to eat with the students, which, surprise, I don't. Special duty I was assigned in at my Texas school was bus duty. This is not limited to 15 minutes. This is limited to when all students are dismissed. So if there's bus issues, buses are running behind, you are staying later. The first week or 2 of school, an additional hour after school because the bus system was an absolute mess. Another task we had to do in Texas was take inventory of all of our materials. Doesn't sound too bad, except for the reading curriculum that we used had hundreds of books to check and scan, go through a list and highlight and see if I had all of the materials. I resorted to having students help me do this because there's no way I could have gotten this done. So yes, class time was spent on kids taking inventory of books. Science of reading was an extra course I was supposed to take on my own time. In the 4 months that I worked in Texas, I had a handful of after school and weekend activities that teachers were required to show up at. California, we were given specific language in our contract, back to school night and open house. Those are your extra after school duties. In Texas, the contracts, they add on a clause, extra duties as assigned. So again, without a union, schools can just assign extra duties. All teachers work hard. Texas teachers, I don't know how you do it.